Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio. Man, record now. Yes, you know it. We're doing bad. All tricks.
Start the podcast.
Do it. Hit
Do
the
it.
button. Hit the button, little man. Stop
Record.
the podcast now.
Ah,
Yes, you know it. If we're doing bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions, it must be.
I thought it was pretty good. I'm the governor.
Hey, Arnold, what you doing over here?
I don't know. We're doing a podcast.
Between you and me.
Remember when I took over The Apprentice?
Adrian. God damn it. All right. This isn't the impersonation hour with Jared and Lucas.
Welcome to Matinee Edition.
It's Matinee Edition. Episode 71 with a nice crack in the voice. How have you been doing, my friend? How is the week?
Good. It's good. We record these pods like 2 days in between.
I say week. Yeah, like it's been I'm sorry.
It's been 2 days. We had other shit to talk about. If you've listened to our please go listen to our previous episode. We ran out of time.
Yeah, pretty much, man. We had pretty much all this on the docket. And if I would have watched all of Falcon and Winter Soldier by that episode, we would have just talked about that too. But
yeah,
half an hour swing, it flies by sometimes.
It flies by, especially when you didn't record for 2 weeks. You got a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about.
So, I think we're gonna start off. What have we been watching? We usually throw this in at the end of a pod, but we didn't last time. So
yeah. I literally just last night watched that Melissa McCarthy, Octavia Spencer ThunderForce movie.
How is that? I saw it on Netflix.
It's exactly what you imagine it's gonna be, and I don't think it's like, I don't mean that in like a negative way. It was funny. It was genuinely funny. It had its fluffy bullshit, heartfelt moments that didn't really land because I love Octavia Spencer in particular. Melissa McCarthy doesn't always hit home with me, but it was like it was a good PG-13 comic booky sort of funny movie, and so there's definitely some good physical comedy from Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, always. That's her thing.
But I saw this headline, or no, maybe it was just a quote from a critic, and it said like, "I wish Melissa McCarthy and her husband would just stop making bad movies together."
There's one Melissa McCarthy movie that I do genuinely like. And it's Spy.
I don't think I've seen it.
Statham. And it's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's like Jason Statham, and I want to say, oh God, I always forget his name. He was in Captain Marvel, the bad
Jude
guy.
Law?
Yeah, Jude Law.
Oh God.
Jude Law, Jason Statham, and Melissa McCarthy, and it's so fucking dumb, but it like nails the physical comedy of all of it.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I mean,
and it sort of makes fun. Jason Statham plays a joke of every character he's ever played,
fair enough.
He's like super serious.
See the transporter in that one also.
Essentially,
that's fine. I like Jason Statham in a good few roles. He's just because he's kind of. He's one of those actors that's just like, it's Jason Statham, just playing the same role as always, kicking
absolutely
in the teeth and whatnot.
But that movie's dumb fun, and if I was intrigued to see about this like whatever Thunderbirds, whatever the fuck movie,
ThunderForce,
that's it. So
yeah, like I said, dude, nothing special. But
yeah, that's what I assumed. I hadn't seen a trailer leading up. And then it was on Netflix. So
to me, Melissa McCarthy is like a female version of if Adam Sandler and if Chris Farley was still alive, if they had a baby, it would be Melissa McCarthy. And I mean, like, that's not necessarily a bad thing. There is some good humor in there, but
I
always hit for me, at least.
I always think Melissa McCarthy is at her best when she is a supporting player. and not the front person of a given film.
Yeah,
Because her style gets a bit annoying.
but that's the thing about her. Like her personality is so big most of the time that it forces its way into like the front, and so
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't always work out.
Have you seen Bridesmaids?
Yes,
Like her character in that, where she doesn't have a ton of screen time, but she fucking takes over when she's on screen, and it's never enough to become annoying.
Yeah, I mean, Bridesmaids was a fucking funny movie.
It's a great film.
Yeah, and that was I mean, that was basically what, like the answer to The Hangover.
Yeah, it was like woman's answer to The Hangover
to some degree, like, but that was like, I mean, just because like I'm thinking in terms of like that female comedy ensemble that they kind of like brought together.
It's a good group.
Yeah. Anyway, stop waxing. Of all things, we're waxing about fucking ThunderForce over here. What have you been watching lately?
I've been watching I've been watching 2 shows. So Unsolved Mysteries, because I wanted to get my true crime fix.
Unsolved Mysteries is always a good.
I've seen like a few episodes now, and like the first 2, it's like genuinely unsettling, like espionage shit.
Yeah,
and I love that. I love true crime. But I've been watching the animated Harley Quinn show.
Oh yeah, for sure. You mentioned that last episode.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I'm like maybe halfway through the first season.
Nice.
And I love that like all these like the villains and the heroes, they're like public personalities first, and then there's a Wendy Williams-esque talk show that covers all the superhero drama. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers of that show that I think. If they were smart, they would actually try and adopt into some bits of live action. And
Absolutely.
I think they have to some degree. Like I would say Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn somewhat it's interesting. It influenced probably the creation of that show, but that show also thusly influenced probably some elements that we eventually saw of her live action performance.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is kind of an interesting note. But yeah, the show's fucking funny overall, and King Shark of all things is also like, it's just like a great fucking character in that.
I think I just finished the episode where he's introduced.
Nice.
I did genuinely love Harley trying to get a arch nemesis and being like, we're gonna get Batman, and it's fucking Damian Wayne's Robin, and he's on like a hoverboard because he's a piece of shit kid.
God, fuck Damien. I would not. Yeah, I mean, seriously though, it is kind of, it just plays on a lot of that like interesting sort of, the different dynamics between different like villains within that community. I also, by the way, I seriously love Bane. I think
Bane's hilarious.
That's probably my favorite version of Bane.
It was very funny. Kate had never seen a comic book accurate rendition of Bane. She'd only ever seen the Tom Hardy thing. So she was looking in sort of bewilderment at that character. And then the voice started and she was like, that's Bane?
Oh. Yeah, dude, like it's
why do you talk to me this way, Joker?
War. Yeah, dude,
also,
it's so fucking good.
I love Bane's coffee mug. It's like, coffee is the instrument of my liberation, or something like that.
God damn, dude.
It's very well written. I love the attention to detail.
It's smart, man. It's a sharp show.
It's a sharp show.
Yeah. But also, I just got to throw this out there. I just also wrapped the QAnon documentary series on HBO.
Oh, I need to check that out.
It's fucking interesting as hell, dude. It really, the guy that the documentarian does a really good job of getting involved with like these people that run 8chan, and like, which is basically just 4chan on steroids.
Yeah.
And eventually you kind of wrap. I don't want to like, I guess spoilers for a documentary.
We're living through it, man.
But you really he really paints a very compelling picture that like the person that has been posting his Q is one of the owners of 8chan. This guy named Ron Watkins. So
I recently saw that some investigative reporter from like the New York Times or something is working on essentially an identity piece on on the QAnon guy.
Yeah, man. I mean, eventually it's gonna like
It's gonna come out.
and whoever has been doing it had to have known that was going to happen. You know what I mean?
I mean,
so there's got to be some level of like seeking infamy to all of this.
There's a level of this would actually be a good coffee and contemplation, talking about how people have exploited online discourse in the past to make themselves big personalities.
Fair
Like
enough.
another example is Lil Nas X with Old Town Road. He would create fake Reddit profiles and link his own song, being like, "Who is this?" Right when he put it on SoundCloud, and he artificially built up the hype for his own brand. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude. I mean, to a small scale, I remember this guy used to work for Joel Hart. He was so obsessed with Yelp for his restaurant.
God damn it.
That he would, I know it's like such a dangerous mindset, man. That
Kitchen nightmares, man.
Like
Kitchen nightmares.
At times, like, you'd catch like reviews that were left for the restaurant that were so specific, like would have like specific detail that you're just like, that's definitely Joel. Like there's nobody else that would like comment that way.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, a review left by a reviewer that like had recently joined and all that shit, very small scale to that kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's like, it's like, it's such a weird fucking mindset to try and, I don't know, go on there and build your own hype. Like
Sometimes it works.
Like,
sometimes it's weird.
Well, yeah, sometimes it works. I mean, but for sure, otherwise we wouldn't have influence culture and all that shit. But like, you know what I mean? You lose sight of it. Like, does Little Nas X give more shit about his fucking the art he's making, or his like, just the money that he has flowing in? Anyway.
And on that note,
Falcon the Winter Soldier. Let's talk about a Disney show.
Ooh, a Disney show that's delving into racism and political inequality.
One of the companies that probably should not, but they are, and I'm supporting it either way. Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 4 was by far the best of the season.
Oh yeah, man! So far,
like
it's so good.
It fucking. Like it wasn't just John Walker, but that episode slayed, man. Like that episode.
It was so good. Dude, there's no more vivid image of the societal forces at play in America and America's impact abroad than somebody who wants more equity for normal people in their governments being literally beat to death by a personification of America.
Yeah, dude, what a wild image to lay that out on.
Like I said at the end of the last episode, powerful imagery.
Boom,
Fuck.
Dude.
That blood-covered shield was insane.
Yeah. And then, like, I mean, we dove right into the end of the episode, but
it's the biggest point in the episode.
But just like, and then like Sam and Bucky, the people who give the most shits about like keeping that shield, unbloodied in a way.
Yeah.
And like in a bigger way, that reputation unbloodied and and it's just like, damn, dude, it was just a wild scene. I was like, damn, they went for it there. Fuck.
I saw a really incredible detail. One of the costume designers from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, she was responsible for bringing the U.S. agent costume to life, essentially. And she was like, I purposefully excluded the color white because it's associated with purity and kindness. So there's only blue and red on his outfit.
Fair enough, man. Interesting.
And I was like, that's a interesting, like, or except for like the small white garnishes on it, like it's mostly blue and red, just because you want to have no qualms about John Walker's difference from Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Is that Steve was a pure of heart person, and now John's fucking juiced, beating people to death in the streets. Granted, it was a very natural progression from the death of Battlestar.
Yeah, so that was what was interesting, dude. It's like, so once again, like in this episode, they're like on the pursuit of the super soldier serum.
Yeah.
And I guess jumping from that idea to just like the heavy moment of they basically have a confrontation that leads to Zemo at gunpoint, essentially smashing all the bottles of super soldier serum, or at least all the bottles he thought. And that leads to John, like, kind of for a good portion of this episode, sort of like, John Walker picks it up and like just sort of tucks it away in his belt.
Yeah.
Weighing the options of whether or not he should juice himself up, which isn't actually surprising kind of dialogue they open up about that. Like, would you superpower yourself?
I think
I would just say yes. I mean, but I guess their whole thing is like
they're aware of the potential repercussions.
Yeah, and for a guy who's already proving that he has a temper issue that leads to instability, maybe not the best thing to try and juice yourself up.
Yeah,
but you're right, dude. Like so he's weighing that option, and then there's that awesome scene where the Wakanda, oh my god, why am I blanking on their name?
The Dora Milaje.
Yeah, so they confront Bucky and Sam, and I believe Zemo is still in the room because they want Zemo, and then that fight ensues, which is a really cool fight sequence.
It's a sweet fight. I do think it was smart of them to introduce the Dora, just because it gives you a break from the brute force style of everything else.
Fair.
From just like a aesthetic, you can tell I'm taking a video production course. The slight difference in choreography and aesthetic is refreshing when you're watching a show that it breaks up the sameness of all of it.
Definitely. And that is, it's like there's an immediate difference in the dynamic of like, well, they're fighting styles, at least we'll say for that sequence. And what pushes it over the edge is not only does John Walker get his butt kicked, like he gets his butt handed to him, man. Like
he doesn't stand a chance.
He was not even like, he was like I'll give him that. It was 2 levels below where they were, maybe.
I love that fucking Bucky fucking with him. Looking strong, John.
Yeah, I know, dude. And then it culminates in Battlestar. Yeah, getting fucking tossed and just
Well, not that sequence. That was later.
Wait, what? Oh, I'm mixing them up.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, which sequence am I? Okay, which sequence is it? The Battlestar gets fucking tossed.
So, Bucky and Sam, which it's important to note, earlier in the episode, Sam meets with Carly Morgenthau and talks with her about her motives, and that's actually one of my favorite scenes of the show so far.
Fair enough. They actually opened up a nice conversation with them.
A very Killmonger T'Challa-esque dynamic from Black Panther, where
fair enough.
You have the one side that is radicalized but has good ideas. And it's like Sam agrees, but the approach is wrong on their end. They're too destructive. They're choosing to take the easy way and kill people. I'm gonna say it leads you to the dark side. So later, after John Walker fucks up the first interaction,
yeah, you're right. Okay,
Carly calls him again, and Sam and Bucky go to see him, and then Sharon calls him saying they're going after John. They want to kill Captain America. And then the end of that altercation leads to Battlestar getting punched through a fucking pillar and dying.
Which is fucking nuts. But yeah, that's right. But that was actually kind of gnarly, dude. Like
it was a brutal death.
Like he was limp, man.
For a second I was like, oh, that he's crippled. But then his fucking head falls down and you're like, he's dead.
But as soon as that happened, you knew that was it. Like he was gonna be pushed over the edge. But it was just wild because I feel like the next time you see John Walker, like he is already juiced up. You don't even see him take the juice. You don't. Even,
you don't.
It's just
he bends like a pipe around a dude's hand or something.
Yeah, around another guy who's like a super soldier.
Yeah.
And so that was fucking wild. And
in retrospect, when you're watching the scenes, because I was curious if there were like any visual cues to him having juiced himself up at the beginning of that scene. Like he's like jittery. It looks like he's on like fucking crack. He's like yeah, exactly. Like he's walking when he's walking after he throws the shield and the dude disappears. He's walking to grab the shield and there's like a jitter to him, and you're like, oh, he's already fucking juiced. He's hyped.
Yeah.
It sort of reminds me, and I think I might have mentioned this on the last episode. It reminds me almost of Nuke, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
There's sort of like a fucking crazed drugginess to it.
yeah. Well, I'm interested to see where they're gonna. I mean, because they could take his character with a number of different options. You know what I mean? Nuke is kind of like that is a one homage that they could go with.
Yeah.
You know, or there's the other one, the obvious like Nomad, and I think it's really just the popularity of his redemption arc.
Yeah.
If he has one.
If he has one, that's a big question.
Yeah, and at this point, I really don't know, dude. He just fucking butchered somebody with a shield. So
I know.
it's like gotta be a damn good redemption arc.
You know, and it's the whole thing of like, I finished the episode and I was like, that's fucked up. And they were talking about destroying the symbol of Captain America. It's gone. It's never going to be the same.
It's like that's what they accomplished there.
Yeah, it's never going to be the same. It's now a symbol of utter brutality and American dominance rather than the symbol of compassion and altruism that was Steve Rogers.
Fair enough, man.
And I don't know if you saw, there's a teaser today for like a second half of the season, like a mid-season trailer for what's to come. No. It's like a minute. And it heavily implies that in the next episode, we're going to see a confrontation between Bucky and Sam trying to take the shield from John.
Nice. I mean, I'm looking forward to that because that'll be... I mean, if anything, it would be an interesting fight sequence.
Absolutely. I mean, and like what we saw from Sam in this episode proved that he was a much better fit for being Captain America. He took the peaceful solution with Carly because, and it was a nice thing. I thought they forgot that he was a fucking like therapist.
I know. I like how you brought that up.
I like that they brought it back, and it made sense. It worked with the scene.
It did.
So I didn't realize and this episode was written by the writers of John Wick. So I was blown away that those guys had this much smarts for writing like good dialogue and like really tapping into some of the themes of the series in a really good way.
Fair enough. Yeah. Who would have known the Wick boys would have pulled it off?
The Wookiee boys.
Yeah, no, it was a damn fine episode, man. I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season like pans out.
2 more episodes.
Yeah.
2 more. And also, so next episode, so episode 5, the runtime was released today. It's going to be 60 minutes. And there's supposedly going to be a jaw-dropping cameo from a major player in the MCU. I know that would be bullshit if they said War Machine again. But because we already saw him.
Dude, heavy eye roll there, man.
Word on the street or on the web, some could say, is that it's either going to be old Steve Rogers or it's going to be T'Challa pre-Chadwick Boseman's death being filmed in.
Interesting. I mean,
which I doubt the second, but I'm like pretty certain that if there's a big cameo they're hyping up, it's Chris Evans as old Steve Rogers.
I mean, it'd be fucking dope if it was.
I'd be down.
Me too, man. Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out.
All right. We got a little bit of time left. Let's talk about
10 minutes.
Let's talk about that the fantastic movie. Probably the critics pick. Godzilla versus Kong.
Oscar nominee.
Oscar nominee. Hold on, let's see if this plays.
For best script.
Check us out.
There you go. God damn it.
Okay. The truth is, though, there are a couple of things on Earth, apparently, that are nearly as strong as Kong.
Yeah.
Probably stronger, actually.
Sorry, Tenacious.
But
So you're a bit more of a fan of these than I am.
I'm just going to downright say that this movie accomplished exactly what people wanted.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah. Well, dude, you and me are both right on that, because it's just like, nobody cares about the human element. I mean, I think you
Nobody cares.
Yeah, it's like it's just it. You know, people
We're
want
talking about this with Transformers last episode.
People want to see things get smashed, man, and people and although I love Kong, and they always try to bring like the human element to whatever giant ape creature is in the monster movie at the time.
Yeah.
It that was like my, like such a back burner thing for me in this movie.
Absolutely.
And that became a lot of all the human parts of the storyline. But the thing was that there's some really unfucking believable parts in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from,
I think this one hit the balance for like the human factor and the insane monster fights. The best of the monster verse so far.
Oh, for sure.
I think second will be Kong Skull Island because I actually like the characters in that movie.
Yeah, Skull Island. Skull Island was a fucking fun movie.
I know you liked it, but I didn't really enjoy Godzilla King of Monsters that much.
Oh yeah, I thought that. Yeah, again, a pretty fucking cool movie if you ask me.
I like the set pieces were cool, but I felt like it went on too long. I genuinely like. I think Kong versus Godzilla is the best one so far.
It knew its place.
It knew what it was. It's fucking campy. It's having a good time with these like obnoxious things that are happening.
Yeah.
And I do think the human factor is actually something I liked in this one. Specifically only the little girl in Kong. I actually enjoyed that dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, it was all right. I think that trope's been played out so fucking much for me that it's like, I guess I still don't care about it. But like, the thing is, this movie was a bit it took a bit of elements from quite a few things. Like, so not only was it like, an elevated Kong story.
Yeah. Kong was sort of the main character.
Kong was definitely the main character, which was interesting. But it also like continued to build their idea of this like, apex predator, dominated Earth or whatever.
Yeah.
With Godzilla, having this need to hunt the Kong, which he perceives as other alpha. That leads to that battleship sequence that we all see a little bit of in the trailer.
Sick.
It was cool, but it was so fucking unbelievable. Like watching Kong hop from like one to the next. I was just like, there's no way. And then when they both, it was the crown jewel of that moment. And this is something I love about monster movies, people, is Dear Hot Dogs, is that it's fucking, it's you don't give a shit about this stuff after a while when you're watching two monsters slug it out. But Godzilla and King Kong were standing on the same jet
tanker
carrier and just slugging at each other. And
it was so dumb.
And it was just like you're watching that, and like for this brief moment your mind goes, there's fucking no way that would be possible all that way. And then you're just like, I don't care, it's an ape and a lizard hitting each other.
It was so fucking dumb fun. It was exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. But then there's
but like my jaw was on the fucking floor. I'm like, they're doing Hollow Earth.
That's what I mean.
Conspiracy theory.
Brendan Fraser might have been in this movie because they take it all the way down to like they journey to the center of the earth in this fucking movie for no reason. But my favorite part about the journey to the center of the earth is that supposedly there's like this obnoxious lady who's obviously working for somebody else that you find out about.
Yeah,
she's supposed to be like the pilot, like person who knows about this stuff, like this technology that they're using to.
Oh, Isaac Gonzalez, right?
Yeah, and anyway, so
of Hobbs and Shaw fame.
So they get into the thing, and she's supposed to be the one that's like knows all this technology. It's new to everybody else, but for some reason, Alexander Skarsgård's character takes the wheel.
It's so funny to me.
And I was just like, what is like? Anyway, it's one of those.
This begs an important question. How many Skarsgårds are there?
Dude, there's multiple Skarsgårds. They're like fucking Mogwai, man. Like somebody poured water on one at one point in time, and like it's somebody poured water on Stellan Skarsgård, and then like Alexander popped out, and then
the one from Vikings
Bill popped out. Ben Skarsgård popped out.
Yeah. They're all actors. They're all decent actors. Except for maybe this one.
But you know, yeah, it was just like that was a weird part of the movie to me, like going to the center of the earth with Kong to find this, and I know that they were like building this up, but it was just, it had this like certain element of like,
it was absurd.
It was absurd. It was so fucking absurd. But to top that whole part off was Godzilla knows that they're down there, and he blasts a hole all the way down to this, like, you know, middle of the earth wilderness jungle land. And then in like no time, Kong climbs up the fucking thing and
falls down.
I guess falls down.
And climbs up because it swaps. 30 minutes.
And like, it just seems so wild. I was just like, how long? Like, how far away is it? It can't be
thousands of miles.
It's thousands. That's what I mean. I'm like, and then on top of that, you're just like, okay, now they're gonna go into their main fight. How fucking unfair is that? Kong had to climb all the way, or you know, fall all the way. He had to do whatever he did, but then they fought, man, and then they fought, and it was fucking awesome.
I love that. These movies are all an allegory for like the ego and the hubris of humanity and thinking we can control nature.
I think we got
more perfect than fucking King Ghidorah taking over Mechagodzilla.
Oh my god, dude.
I was like, that's actually a good way of doing Mechagodzilla and making it like not the humans are still dumb, but the humans aren't the bad guys.
But that's the whole point of Mechagodzilla, is to continue to make the humans look like bad guys, right? It's
yeah,
like
exactly.
They keep trying to fucking take back control. These assholes, like they don't want to let up. So instead, anyway, you're right. But like, I guess you're right. I see what you're saying now.
Yeah. It was a dead giveaway when at the beginning of the movie it was like Apex.
Yeah.
Apex.
But like that, that wasn't my favorite design. I think for the Mechagodzilla, it looked kind of cool, but I don't know. Like it wasn't. I thought that was where they kind of.
I wanted it to be a bit chunkier, you know.
Yeah, I really did too. Like
I like the horns on his back were like exhaust. That was sort of cool.
Oh, yeah,
like he was using his rockets and stuff. There were cool elements to it, but it didn't really look like Godzilla. It looked like indescript lizard robot.
Pretty much. But either way, man, like that whole like end sequence, aside from Skarsgård jump starting King Kong's heart with the ship that he knows nothing about. Bad. I mean, yeah, sure. It's a nice touching moment, but again, I have for some reason I just couldn't imagine. I was like, how the fuck does Skarsgård know how to make this ship do this right now?
No, I think my favorite moment of the film immediately followed that up when it was King Kong Mel Gibsoning his shoulder back into place.
Oh yeah, dude. I've tried to do that before.
What?
Yeah, it doesn't always work out too well.
Did you actually dislocate your shoulder and try to put it back in doing that?
I have, yes.
What the fuck?
It resulted in me needing to go to the doctor to get it put back into place better.
Oh god.
Fun facts about me. But yeah, either way, I really think it was like it's worth watching if you want to have a fucking fun movie experience, even from home. I would be. Absolutely. It would have been cool to see this in a theater, I think, but I wasn't gonna wait for the opportunity.
Yeah, neither was I. I watched it late at night, closed all the blinds, cranked up the volume.
Damn straight.
And it was, hear them beasts roar. Well, what's your best interpretation of the Godzilla scream?
Godzilla scream.
It's so piercing.